All right. A few thoughts on cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and other altcoins that could be on the rise, or potential altcoins that would be on the rise and with the most demand for the world. Yeah, it's very fun to be asking myself the question, what does the world need, and how could the blockchain be utilizing that need and sort of transmuting that need into something, very usable and private. Really, a lot of it is just so full of potential with its privacy that it's I'm not quite sure if it's true, but maybe beyond regulation. I know a few coins struggle with getting the legalities of how their service will work, how getting those legalities all panned out and up to par with, up to code. I think some of that is involved with how their money lending type of service will be. A few other coins I've seen, they run into these these steps they must take that do require it to be up to code, but it's quite confusing to me at this moment, because the whole premise of our a brighter future is that this this technology will be used for privatizing transactions as well as our lives, and I think stepping away from regulation even. And it's basically like we can vote on what we don't want regulated, which is kind of like, wow, that is quite interesting. So for me, seeing the coins I've seen and heard about at this time are, that's recording still, are things like we have the privacy coins, so that's including Monero, PivX, Zcash, and I know there are a few others I'm missing, but I can only really speak for PivX, which I can recall is that it's putting our identity into a much safer system, a system that's not going to be used for telling everyone where our location is, and not telling our government where we are at any given moment that we are, getting checked by border patrols or policemen or things like this. I was just thinking about this for which felt like the first time, and that just seems really powerful to take our ourselves, our the potential of ourselves back into our own hands, away from the government. I'm sure there's more to it than just that, but we've got that going for us with blockchain and privacy coins. It seems maybe that's probably across the board that's trying to be accomplished. A private way of relaying our identity that's away from the system, I guess. So, and it's not just the system; it's all that the system's become. It's the big powers. It's the government. It's the 1% inside of that government. So, pretty big stuff there. That's big. Privacy coins. Other uses I'm thinking about with coins, that, might be things to look out for, or maybe they're just for fun, to imagine, like a gardening coin where you have basically everyone wants to set up a garden because it's going to make their coin maybe worth more once they have their own garden based on its size, its scope, and I think it would need verifications from other users, to physically kind of scan the parameters, and so you have all these people verifying physically the garden, that are local there, and they'd be rewarded for doing that, and as well as you. Just really trying to think about how to get community gardens, or just, I don't know, maybe not community, but sure, community gardens. Yeah, why not? More in the flow of things, and so we're not relying so much on foreign imports or exports for our food, and for our business, So I think that's huge. I think that needs to be done. Really needs to be done. Really, really needs to be done. So yeah, there it is. Just a garden coin, community garden coin. Another one, I was trying to think of electric car rentals, something like that. But maybe those are already working out for themselves. I could definitely see a coin being made that's part of that routine, because it's the tech can be inside of the coin, inside of the computers that relate to the cars. I'm sure that can take off. Also, this one I just thought of was for tiny homes. Something about a coin that gives you more leverage to build your own home. And as those coins are growing, the value of it's all votes. So it's your tiny home. Funds only for a tiny home would be able to increase. And I don't know how that, it almost just sounds like that would be regular money, but I'm sure there could be something done to make it just based on owning, building, starting up a tiny home. And I was trying to imagine it almost like the garden coin, where others are involved in its success and the building of it, which, that would be amazing. Maybe people that have previously bought tiny homes, created them, could be helping. That would kind of seem like a slow process, because I think these homes, they're not lightning fast. But yeah, just the idea, just the vote for tiny homes and getting people housed, like, amazing, and not having to like share homes. Maybe could be a bit of a waste in some way, because I mean, in another light, we've got so many homes that have been, I think, foreclosed, and I believe that's all from the 2008 housing crash, market crash, and yeah, so we do have all these dormant buildings. That would, so start going towards a different thing, and yeah, maybe that's a coin. Maybe there's something about how we can take power back. Like, nobody, like, who really owns, like, these homes? Banks, so if we're taking power back from banks, then we would be able to get back into these homes. And so, yeah, maybe there is something involved with these dormant, unused homes that we can fill, and the coin, like, supports that, and in some way. I mean, maybe it's not like a direct way of, like, oh, I'm this user, I have these coins, but maybe it just somehow pushes that idea forward. I know that sounds really rough with that, but I believe that these coins can just be, totally, like, anonymous voting that carries ideas forth to their, like, maximum potential, really. I mean, because a lot of the time what we see is ideas not getting put forth all the way for so many different reasons. Like, well, the main reason would be that money wants something different. The monopolies want it to change. I'm sure there's a different idea for that too, but yeah, like, progress is just so slow. Like, the 1%, like, in our government, it's just this inefficient system of, when you have an idea, you want it to get worked through and put forth into action. How slow is that, right? How slow is it to take a bill, whatever it could be, like some sort of amendment to the Constitution? How long does that whole process take? And how many people are voting on it? Right? And how accurate is it really? that we pass something, or we are declining things. It's not efficient. It's not for the people. So what we have with the blockchain is something efficient for the people, just as it should be. And so, holy shit is what I'm saying. Holy shit. What is that doing, right? That's doing everything we need it to. It seems like I don't know what potential drawbacks are with this, but as I've been looking at it, there are so many perks and there are so many ways that we are creating technology and it's not being shifted in a way. Nobody's scared to put their ideas forth. Which in the past that's still, it's been the case. It's been the case for so much. So when ideas can be valued, heard, sent quickly across the world, think about how much change can get made in that way. When the previous constraints were just keeping everything the way that they wanted it to be. Not much is getting done. Change is quite slow. So that's some of what's on my mind with this, and I'm sure it comes out in other people too. I'm sure it's something that we're taking notice of. We understand, and we see it inside of the coins and the technology and the companies. We see it in the white papers. We see it in the interviews. We see it in the enthusiasm and the way that just hits home. Like, of course, I'd like my life to be private, and I want, take the privacy, the PIVX coin for instance. That just makes sense that it's not being used for the government's use. There's not this total loose end of you sharing your information and it working potentially against you, the NSA files, the NSA, just the NSA. I mean, I don't have to say too much about that, but it's what the NSA does, and it's what the CIA does, and it's So that's saying goodbye to all that. I'm pretty sure. I mean, what purpose would those be serving, or if they are still intact, then they're no longer able to snoop on their own people and have that sort of control. So hopefully, maybe I'm trying to get into some kind of iceberg effect, and it's only really a smaller iceberg. Maybe it is just what you see on the surface is as far as it goes, but maybe it's only one domino, not a trail of dominoes. But I do believe it's deeper than what is kind of perceived. And I'm sure, like I've said it, but I'm sure that so many people see this. People with money see it. People without money see it. People just looking at these companies are going, wow. And an interesting part, with what this connects to is the currency of Bitcoin being used to buy shares of these coins that are changing the world. So, quite an interesting thing to get into when you start to notice that the value is in Bitcoin. The future is in this system. So, yeah. Then what I've been thinking of, and over the past hardcore, like last week, but it's been settling in for over the last month, is what does that mean when this value is here and we're still playing in this world that's using money that's depreciating? It's how else do I say that? It's inflation is depreciating the coin, and even just on a small level, if I haven't even looked far into this whole what do we call it, the Federal Reserve, and I'm not even looking too far into that at the moment, but we just understand, everyone knows that this is happening. I've kind of made up my own mind about it, is and it's if you're not investing that money wisely, or which is, how do you fucking invest fiat US dollars wisely? You kind of don't in this world. I'm only thinking about real estate, land or housing, something like that. So why is it depreciating? I'm not quite certain, but I know it's not for a good reason. It shouldn't be doing that, right? And I know that it's been getting worse over the years. Like, it's quite the shocker to hear that your dad used to buy like a jacket for like $5 or gas for like 20 cents, right? And it's kind of like our mistake against ourselves is to be is for that to be so obvious and exposed like that. Well, yeah, your dollar's not worth as much this next year. It's inflating, or the currency is inflating. So quite interesting when you put it towards something that is going to be growing. And Bitcoin has been absolutely growing over the last, I'm not sure how many years, but obviously we've seen that growth, and it's at an all-time high, because I'm talking in... well, it was at an all-time high, but that growth is just ridiculous. It's making the news, and then we look at what the foundation of Bitcoin is. What does it support? And it basically supports our freedom, because without that coin, we aren't supporting these projects that are so needed for us, and it's not only just supporting that coin, it's supporting the technology and the blockchain. And this isn't just like, this isn't investment advice, right? But you can just hear it in my story. You can just make up your mind at how this is feeling, and you can try it on for yourself. So yeah, back into this idea of fiat and Bitcoin. So what will that all look like? That's a big question of mine, is when things start to switch over, because I believe that could be, there will be a point, like a tipping point, the crux, well, or it's like the fulcrum, like the point at which it's going to be at that balance, this tipping point of shifting. I'm sure that happens, but I imagine it starts to go fairly slowly. We just see it kind of, well, we could see it like sort of take off. It'll be, I think, noticeable how this is working out. And with this, I'm thinking of Salt, the Salt coin, and the Salt fiat money lending service, and how you can be still invested in your crypto and getting loans based on the value of your crypto to use more fiat money. That seems pretty huge, and I've felt and understood that need in myself, as well as how we are wanting to take these ideas so far in crypto and put so much into it. I know people that have done it, even just through Bitcoin, they'll just throw everything at it. And yet we still do live in a world that is dealing with this fiat currency. And yeah, the interplay between both is quite interesting, and I'm sure occupies many investors' minds as they are taking their dollars and transferring it into, converting it into Bitcoins. And I'm sure the question comes up, like, how can I get paid in coins, or when will we just be paying each other all in coins? And that'll be an exciting sort of time. I mean, a bit far off. I mean, how many years would that be? That'd be fun to try to make a prediction about that. So it's almost 2018 in only a few more days. I think that's about that's about 1 week actually. I think this is blasting off. And I'm just thinking about like numbers and how these numbers feel. I was thinking of 2019 feeling very pivotal into condensing money towards crypto and towards the blockchain. 2020 kind of emerging into that new age with more of a fresh slate. You know, it kind of just fits to those numbers of that. I don't know. But in my head, I feel like this is more like a 4 and 5 year thing. So that would be 18, 19, 20. Yeah, like maybe like 21, 22, where it's more of a widespread, clean adoption of crypto, like a world of crypto. Yeah, I honestly don't think this is too far off. I mean, I think, if we can probably talk to some people, there's people that know. If they look at the history of things, or they know the science of mass adoption, it's something comparable to the internet or cars or something like this. But the fact is, information gets spread far more quickly now than it ever has before. And that's something I paid attention to over the last few years as we have acquired these cell phones and all gotten so locked into our cell phones. I've had this thought that, and maybe this was only this last year actually, where I really, really clicked. Like, I wasn't seeing the phones as a negativity, or on the negative side. I started to see them as, what's the perk of this? And it is that when something happens, everybody knows about it. The big complaint amongst people in the public is always, it's this big joke how we were like turning into these zombies and the phones have numbed us, and it's a very dreary type of future that we're looking at through that lens. That people are sucked in for no reason. And the fact is, with our purpose here on this planet, is we're sucked in for a reason, and we are being connected for a reason. Our technology, basically our minds, are connecting to each other like this for a reason. It's not so much, the Pokemon Go, the fun little odd things we've been doing have just been these goofy yet strong indicators that we are making huge connections with each other, and that huge connection is amplifying the love that we are. And and that's what it is. It's what we all where we all come from. It's what we all share, is this love. And being able to throw this, I keep using throw, but spread this, release this, show this to the world, and experience each other on our own level of love. That's a big thing. That's one of the biggest things. So we share these commonalities. We can empathize with each other. We can affect each other. As the phones have looked like such a division between us, I have known that they are only there to be connecting us very soon. Yeah, and that's quite exciting. And quite lovely to see that it, it's like it's just kind of this, like a paradox, I guess, where a thing that you would think is your detriment is actually like your savior. It's beautiful. I think everything's meant to be. So this technology and the full, like, seeing the potential, it's not even potential, it's already there, but the possibilities, all these routes that can be taken through blockchain, and which is basically, I think, the internet. It's basically just like advanced internet. I think that's just the greatest thing for us. It's going to be helping us so much. So I'll keep thinking more about coins and possible uses, and I'm going to be constantly keeping up on crypto coins ideas. Really, I've been seeing that it's all about the idea being put forward by that company, not just is it going to make money, is it popular. It's more I've noticed over these last few days that with my investments, it can't be about that, because for just, the number one is that's not fun. Number two, it just feels really good to have an investment in some idea that has real world uses and is different than anything we've ever experienced. So if you can kind of feel like, wow, I can't believe this is something that could potentially come into our world and be changing us, I think that's a great investment. That's a great investment. If based on a few other things as well, team development, all sorts of factors, because sometimes there's multiple companies going after the same idea, right? With privacy coins or whatever else, a new blockchain, universal wallets for these coins. But if we can really feel something from these projects, these are, I believe that's just the key. I mean, you don't have to go too far away from that. Like, you get the idea of like this feeling and the progress that can be happening, and you just dive right in. You know, you know you feel that that's something we need. Other people feel it too. You're not alone. There's no reason why you would feel that if it wasn't felt in other people too. You know, the same thing with, you're at a movie and you cry, No reason to be embarrassed for that. Even if you don't see your friends around you crying, it's still felt, So, go for that feeling and trust in that feeling, because it's very true, what we feel. Like I'm saying here, it's not rocket science why we are triggered into emotions and moved by certain things. Those are real indicators sometimes of what needs to be looked at, and what exactly that. Just they're great for our learning about ourselves and what we need. So sometimes that's why a lot of emotions, sometimes we're not ready for it, and they just happen for all sorts of reasons, and we may start to notice like, whoa, I felt this, so maybe I need this. We can think with coins, if I feel this, if this idea is stirring me, maybe we all need this, And that's great. That's really great. I think that's what our world's going to be based off of for quite some time. And we're going to be able to share these feelings, emotions, quite like, how would I say that? More noticeably, you're going to see it like manifesting in our physical world, what we feel, what we need to change, and that, that's being put forth. It's just amazing. It doesn't go through all these filters of like, how do these people feel about it? How does money feel about your feelings and your ideas? Soon there won't be these barriers. It will be like a direct connection to source, and the source being the blockchain. So, holy shit, right? It's almost like how something like Avatar, where they've got everything like understanding itself. The Matakaya people are connected to the tree, and there's all these neurons connected to that, and the Tree of Souls is connected to everything, and everything's connected to that. It's like no filters, right? We're just streamlining that shit. So yeah, I think you get the point. That's the idea.